It seems like I've spent a good bit of time talking about the vagaries and the unpredictability of the construction process. And I wish I had all the answers and I could give you all of them as we went along. But part of the process here is just trying to make you aware of it. But having said that, the whole process of submitting to the building department is probably one of the more disempowering processes you could come up with. You really don't have much control over this situation. And so to tell you what to expect really does vary, region by region and by area. On a very simple level, the level of obfuscation from the building department is directly related to how big and how old that building department is. So as an example, if you're submitting to a place like Boston, and Boston's been around since the 1690s, you've got a lot more levels of bureaucracy, graft, and complexity built into that building department. So you're gonna have a harder time. So conversely, if you're in East Loboken, Iowa, and your Uncle George is on the building department, chances are you're going to be able to get through it a lot easier. So it really is a direct relation to what's going on there. So you need to think about it that way. The job of the building department is allegedly to check the drawings for conformance with building code issues. And primarily, those are life and safety issues. So as an example, we're talking about fire ratings of walls, exiting requirements. Do you have enough doors, exit doors? More recently, most every building department has taken on the responsibility of reviewing for ADA accessibility. And this is kind of ironic because the ADA, in fact, isn't a law that the building departments have been empowered. They've taken over that responsibility. They're doing you a favor by reviewing your drawings for ADA accessibility, but they will be doing it. So so you have to realize that there's all kinds of things they're looking for. Now, hopefully, your architect is geared into and knows what the hot buttons are in your local area, and is also well researched, his drawings, so he knows where he's going. So hopefully there shouldn't be gigantic quandaries discovered. But having said that, there's a lot of things that can happen in the building process. And so what you'll often see is a building department coming back to your architect and saying, what about this and what about that? And your architect should take that in stride and work out responses. This process can take a while. In the most ideal situation, a building department review and approval might take 2 weeks. But I've seen it go on for 3 or 4 months, unfortunately, in some places. And it's not a reflection of having an ignorant architect. It could be some innocent screw-ups, and it could be overzealous building officials. So combined together, you're walking into a potential lion's den, and what you need to do is basically grit your teeth and bear it, because in this case, there is no way to really fix the situation. On top of that, what you need to be careful of doing is not creating enemies. So as an example, if you have to beat and cajole and humiliate your building department to get something out of the department and get an approval, chances are that's going to cause you problems in the long run. So think about where you're going with this relationship. Just like you're building relationships with your architect and contractor, you're building relationships with your governmental officials. And so maybe instead of beating them blue to try to get the right approval, maybe there's some other ways that are more subtle. Once again, you might be talking to your Uncle Marv, who happens to be the mayor, and he can work on it that way. So think about how you can do it without being confrontational in the process.